welcome to the Starting Over Podcast. I'm your host, Edward Sheldon, aka Dark Logos, and this is a show where we look at the strategies, tactics, and mechanics behind the game of heroclix. So, this is going into our second part of our Fantastic Four series of looking at the set, and we're going to start with the rares. So yeah, like you can already tell, like this is going pretty good for the set. First and foremost, you have Mr. Fantastic. Before we go into it, if you haven't listened to part one, please listen to part one. I just shortcut a whole bunch of things just to make it a lot clearer. Listen to part one. All right, so going on into the rares, we're looking at Mr. Fantastic. And it's pretty good. First off, it's Mr. Fantastic number 33. And I'm primarily looking at 33E. And we're getting plasticity, quake, combat reflexes. And then we're getting the trait to strand the Griever. Opposing characters within 4 squares in line of fire can't begin moving except during move actions. So that's pretty good for lockdown. And now, unfortunately, you do need line of fire, so that part is a bit of a problem. But understand, like, once a character, like, let's say if they're in hindering, once they move out of hindering into visibility, they would automatically be caught. So there is that. Friendly characters with the Fantastic Four keyword within 4 squares can use leadership. So the Return of the Fantastic Four trait is very strong because it doesn't require a line of fire, and you're able to give a good chunk of the characters in the set leadership. So you're talking about resetting in a turn in a potentially a bit more effective way than Justice League Unlimited. Just a bit. Okay, having a 5 through 6 roll, being adjacent versus a 6 anywhere, I would take a 5 through 6. Then you have long range planning. You have outwit of 10, protected outwit. So that right there gives you classic heroclix outwit. So I definitely say for 60 points there is some utility in having that. All right, so I think this is one of the few Mr. Fantastics that I actually think that is good. Nope, take it back, number 17. All right, so going on, we're looking at Invisible Woman, the rare, number 34. She has her stealth, I think it's stealth traded. Yeah, stealth traded. And adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with her can use stealth, which is big. And improved targeting ignores hindering. Now, I think this figure here might actually be a complete game changer for heroclix. And she still has to form new Fantastic Four. And I won't kill anyone, incapacitate when Invisible Woman uses it after resolutions. Hit characters modify attack by -1 until your next turn. So let's just briefly talk about this. The fact that your entire team has stealth. Adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with her can use stealth is a big deal. It can be transformative because she has a lot of keywords: Avengers, Celebrity, Fantastic Four, Lady Liberators, Shield, and Spy. Now, Spy doesn't need it so much. Shield doesn't need it really that much either. But the fact that Fantastic Four and Avengers can get access to the espionage trait through Invisible Woman is ridiculous. Triple target incapacitate as well is ridiculous. So I must say, like, when all is considered, she is a lot stronger and probably is like the best option that you can get. I know some people will say, well, why wouldn't you prefer to play her at lower points? And the truth is, Fantastic Four has a ton of prob. I mean, not ton of prob, ton of perplex. So having the prob up front and it not being a theme prob makes more sense to me. Yeah. So like, definitely a must get. All right, we're gonna move on to Human Torch. Human Torch number 35, running shot. Then we have the Return of the Fantastic Four trait. Friendly characters with the Fantastic Four keyword within 4 squares can use enhancement, and that is good. That is good. Definitely if you're trying to pump up Johnny, or in particular, there's a couple of range-based characters like, Silver Surfer, which we'll get into later, on your Fantastic Four theme teams that you could just make a lot stronger. Taste Nova Blast, Galactus, Pulse Wave. When Human Torch uses it after resolution, you may choose an opposing character that can use Protected Pulse Wave, or Protected Pulse Wave within half of its range and line of fire, and deal that character 1 penetrating damage. I don't like this because I think technically there is only like 1 character minus Colossal Retaliators that have Protected Pulse Wave, and that's my boy Cosmic Panther. So yeah, I'm not liking him, but I have to admit that this is good. And all things considered, since Cosmic Panther is sort of shifting out of the meta's good graces, I realistically have to say, like, yeah, is he a little too late? Maybe. But definitely I can say that he is going to be the bane of anyone running a retail. So just for that alone, he's great. My only concern is, can he get into position and to get that pulse wave off? And that's where I believe like a bit of a problem starts to sink in with him. He's going to need that defend to up his defense. He's going to need maybe a perplex to up his defense again, just to guarantee that he gets into position. So, like, all in all, I think it's rough. Really, really rough. In terms of like long-term getting him downfield. But I do think he can do it. Not having Indom is the only setback that I look at the Human Torch for how many points that you're paying for him, even though you do have that trait. I mean, not the trait, that special damage power. So yeah. Now he also has Human Torch and adjacent friendly characters take no damage from energy explosion or poison, which is nice, but at the same time, it's not enough. It's not enough. All right, then you have 75-point Thing. He has Honeymoon in Paradise. When Thing starts the game, generate an Alicia Grimm bystander, which that bystander is really nice because it comes with support. Then you have friendly characters with the Fantastic Four keyword within 4 squares can use Empower, which realistically is not as good because you're only looking at that benefiting Mr. Fantastic and Thing, whereas the enhancement is Wolverine. But enhancement actually helps more of the team. So if adjacent friendly characters could use Invul, I think that this would just be a bit better. But the fact that you start with Elisa Grimpog, then rotate this thing out, I think it's going to be a lot better. Everything I got, all or nothing. When the Thing makes a close attack, you may choose that he modifies attack by +3, deal penetrating damage, and opposing characters can't use shape change or super senses. If you do, after resolution, KO the Thing. Now, I mean, that is a bit much, but you better make that hit, like, because you're talking at a 10 attack at that stage. If they gave me an 11 or a 12 attack, and I had a +3. Yeah. Like, if I had a +3, I would definitely take that swing. So that is something that I think is maybe something to think about in the future for game design. All right, next up is Dr. Fantastic. Now, Dr. Fantastic is a wonderful piece, and he's a hell of a drug. So you're going to pay the 10 points for I really should deactivate these Doom bots. When a friendly character is targeted by an opposing, oh, it's when a friendly, not just him. Oh wow, I playing this wrong. So when a friendly character is targeted by an opposing outwit, perplex, or probability control, after resolution, you may generate a Fantastic Four Doom bot each time. Each time. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, but really, bruh, like, you're going to do that? Yeah. Yeah, because it's not just targeting Dr. Fantastic. It's targeting, and again, I'm going off of Realm, so if the card says something else, then bear with me. But yeah, so the fact that you're able to just be ridiculous with it. Getting a massive amount of Doom bots is possible, which makes Dr. Fantastic and Doctor Doom almost impossible to kill, unless you're just pulse waving. So there's that. Or you have a Dark Phoenix Retail too could. Yeah, Dark Phoenix Retail would probably be a reason not to spam. But Summon Galactus, my son, protected pulse wave, power once per game, generate a Franklin Galactus bystander. Now, Franklin Galactus is insanely dumb, strong for the potential that he can do. So just be mindful of that. Outwit, perplex. Stretch my own brain to the limit, which I like this because he did that in the comic. Outwit, perplex, free, choose outwit or perplex. Dr. Fantastic can use the chosen power an additional time this turn. So there's a lot of utility that you're getting for 100 to 110 points that I think is excellent. So definitely get Dr. Fantastic. The Franklin Galactus, just for FYI, is 12 attack, 20 defense, 5 damage, pulse wave, 0 move, 10 range. So wherever you summon him at, that's where he's going to be. So, like, I would say this. You can TK him around, and don't be hesitant to just set him up as supporting fire. Like, just don't be afraid to just set him up as supporting fire. He just says, like, boom, pew, dead, pew, dead, pew, dead. And with the Fantastic Four, through Johnny Storm getting enhancement, you can up him, this POG up till, 6, 7, 8, maybe, depending on situations. Now, I know some of you are also going to say, but there's no guarantee I'm going to get the POG out, Dark Logos. Well, yeah, that is true. There is no guarantee that you're going to get the POG out. So that is something to consider. So, I'm not going to sleep on that. But it's still good. It's still good stuff. All right. Let's keep going. Next up is Franklin Richards. And Franklin Richards, I think, is game design said, we have Black Widow in the meta. We can release another Super Skrull-like character. And unfortunately, it's not Super Skrull. Which, that sucks. But we take it back. We take it back. Friendly characters with the Fantastic Four keyword within 4 squares have the Power Cosmic team ability. That in and of itself makes Fantastic Four a A- to A+ class keyword and team. With the amount of characters that you have, plus Franklin Richards just being on deck, it just creates too many problems for your opponent. Then you have the following trait. Maybe I'm finally ordinary. Franklin Richards can't be equipped and can only be healed by regeneration or the Fantastic Four team ability. So you can't use still energy to heal him up. The first time Franklin Richards would be KO'd by his own unavoidable damage, instead turn him back to click 11. So that's something to consider. Then he has, every time I use my powers, I get closer to losing them. Free. Choose 3 standard powers. Franklin Richards can use the chosen powers until your next turn. At the end of your turn, if Franklin Richards activated this power or made an attack roll, roll a d6, deal him unavoidable damage equal to half of the result. So it is interesting. Again, Black Widow just comes back and craps all over Franklin. But that's fine because she's 100 points and Franklin is 65 points. But the fact that you have these powers up front means that your first few turns, you're going to try to maximize Franklin on those turns. And the fact that he can't be, supported back up just means that you have to be a lot more careful in his placement. His movement is okay for his first 3 clicks, but when you start getting to his mid to late dial, I feel like his movement falls off a little bit, almost too much. Again, people, I don't necessarily believe that Franklin Richards should have like 12 movement and all this other stuff, but I do think because of a disadvantage of his powers and traits, I just have to say, look, he can't be equipped, which gives him a supreme disadvantage in a multitude of ways. For pick a power and me taking half of the damage that is, potentially, half of the damage, that's too much. So I realistically would say that Franklin puts you in a better situation for your team more so than him offensively for yourself. And I would actually tell you, if you're running him, make sure that you're taking in your chances of opportunity just to go and lay a significant amount of damage down, and then just realize okay, he goes and plays sort of a supporting role, and you are healing about every other turn. And even still, you could try to heal, but that heal could backfire on you. So that's the frustration with Franklin. I can't deny that he is. I can't deny his value. I can't deny his value. So yeah. Next up is Scroll General. Scroll General is, I believe, one of those must-haves. First and foremost, it says when a friendly character uses shape change and succeeds, the attacker can't choose a new target with the scroll keyword. That right there makes Super Scroll, and actually most of the scrolls, a lot more dangerous. The fact that you cannot rotate to a new target that has the scroll's keyword makes a scroll theme team viable. Not necessarily top tier, I would say B-, but it does make it viable. The next thing is deploying infiltration pods to key locations. Leadership friendly characters with the scroll's keyword have underworld team ability. So you're granted another team ability through the general. So I gotta say, Scroll General has a lot of utility for your team. I think it's just a matter of making it so that you can get the most out of him. Now, unfortunately, unlike most of the other scrolls, he doesn't have any shape change outside of his scroll team ability, which sort of sucks, but you're going to go ahead and give him Remaker if you're really that concerned about it. All right, next up is Mole Man. And Mole Man, he always seems to find his way into the game somehow. Leadership, Mastermind. When Mole Man uses leadership and succeeds, instead of normal effect, you may generate 2 Moloids from the set. Denizens of the Underworld in any square within range, and he has a 5 range. Sniper rifle folks, like, yeah, that 10 range placement could be pretty dumb if you decide to do it. Complete waste, in my opinion, but could be pretty dumb. Denizens of the Underworld, he might command Perplex. When Mole Man would use it to target a friendly character with the monster keyword, he does not need range or line of fire. So, yeah, that makes him a super perplex. Now, I know that most of the monster teams have sort of fell off with Whales being retired. I know that there are sad song and dances being made. But in all reality, when we look at Mole Man, he provides a lot of utility to most of these teams that are still thinking about monster, and I feel like there's utility there. So it's definitely very good stuff. Let's keep rolling. Right. Where'd you go? Okay, cool. Here's Living Laser. Now, I'm pro Living Laser because of, Frightful 4 and what he offers for Frightful 4. He has the unique modifier opposing characters modify attack by -1 when making a ranged attack that targets 1 plus friendly characters with the Frightful 4 keyword. Why is this big? That means Living Laser, with his energy shield, will always make his opponents have a -1 attack no matter where he's at. So he does not have... so he gets even more of a benefit from being on hindering terrain or in obscuring terrain. So all of a sudden your opponent has a 10 attack trying to hit a 21 in hindering. Now it's a 9 trying to hit a 21 in hindering. Oh, you had an 11? Okay, now it's down to a 10. It makes hitting Living Laser really hard. And when you start stacking that, with some of your other, I think it's Thundra, it gives you the +1 defense for everyone that was targeted with an attack. It starts to become a little absurd defensively what they can do. I'm not saying it's unstoppable, but I do admit that it is a bit strong. Go on to his next trait, Absorb or Amplification. When Living Laser is missed by an attack, give him an Absorb token. Free, remove an Absorb token to choose one. Regeneration at no cost or Range Combat Expert at no cost. Now, anybody that played Living Laser in the past knows how dumb the previous versions of Living Laser were with Range Combat Expert back in the day. This is a lot more calmed down, in my opinion. But the fact that I can be an 11-4 for 75 points is not bad. But it does require him to be missed by an attack. And that's the part that I don't necessarily like. So there is that on the table. So I would recommend that you go and check out Living Laser. And if you're going to play him, Frightful 4, I want to make the case for you that Frightful 4 is viable. I don't think it's absurd. I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's as strong as Fantastic Four. I do think it sits somewhere between B to B plus, meta, A minus in in skilled hands, in a person that can read the matchup. So I think that's a reality. All right. Next up, we have Hydro Man. So Hydro Man is again Frightful 4. Opposing characters modify damage -1 when making a ranged attack that targets +1 friendly characters with the Frightful 4 keyword. That's it. I really like it for it. He has Poison Smoke Cloud. When Hydro Man uses Smoke Cloud, he generates water markers instead, and after resolution, he can use poison at no cost. And consider opposing characters occupying his water markers adjacent for poison. So that is nice because then you're able to get more people for poison. So there again, like Utility, utility, utility. Next up is Sandman, which is the joke is Hydro Man and Sandman functionally just do the same thing. And I think they like merged to form like Quicksand or something for. There was like an episode where that happened or a comic. I know they made like Quicksand Man or something like that. But, yeah. Where'd you go? Here it is. Sandman. There we go. So Sandman, Frightful 4 is pretty much you get -1 damage when making a close attack. So you can sort of see that they're designed to work together. Quake, Smoke Cloud. When Sandman uses Smoke Cloud after resolutions, he can use Quake at no cost, but also may target any opposing characters occupying or adjacent to his hindering markers regardless of line of fire. Alright, so again, Sandman has a lot of utility. I think that Sandman again, you really want to figure out how if you're going to go 1-for-1 pairing him with Hydro Man or not. It's something to think about. Next up is Wizard. Now, and this is why Frightful 4 is viable, is because of Wizard. So he has formed the new Frightful 4, which allows for you to replace up to 4. You are able to max replace 4 characters with the same number of characters from your sideline. Whereas the Invisible Woman, the Invisible Woman also does up to 4 as well. Now, the Frightful 4 are ridiculous. The Wizard is ridiculous for that form the new Frightful 4. And that creates it creates a point where your sideline can be full of the Frightful 4 that you deemed most valuable or have the most utility. And in this set, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 Frightful 4. You can go back and we have a Legal Claw. So that puts us at 14. Past that, when we start going into Frightful 4, we're looking at Superior Foes of Spider-Man and stuff like that. So that puts us back a long, long, long way. And like we're starting looking at characters that's just like, you're not good. It's like, you're really not good. Like, I can't play you. Okay? So, fundamentally, is Frightful 4 like a bad keyword in Golden Age? Yeah, it really is. And currently in Modern, it's like I said, it's not bad. So going back to Wizard, Wizard has Minions of Doom team ability, which I think when they were designing it, someone was probably thinking about old Minions of Doom. But I don't know. But anyway, you have Frightful 4. Your meddling fools are no match for my intellect. Friendly characters with a Frightful 4 keyword within range and line of fire have protected outwit. Now, does that help you, in all honesty, in the long term with your Frightful 4? If you're going against a Fantastic Four, sort of, but I don't think that it is the quintessential power, because you can easily block off line of fire, and when you do, you've lost your protections. So that's the part that I don't like about this. It should have just been flat. Members with the Frightful 4 have protected outwit. I think that would have been great. Intellect to spare. Leadership, outwit, perplex. When he uses leadership on a result of 4, choose outwit or perplex. This turn, Wizard can use the chosen power twice. So it's somewhere of a hybrid between Doctor Fantastic and the other. Yeah, it's actually a hybridish of Doctor Fantastic's power. So I can see how they came up with this for Wizard. Now his stats are actually pretty good. And in all honesty, I could see him combining with a couple of other additional characters and being useful, not necessarily being swapped out. But just like you need an Invisible Woman to make Fantastic Four top tier, I would argue that you definitely need Wizard for it to be top tier. Without Wizard, Frightful Four cannot be a viable keyword. It just can't. I'll just leave it at that. All right. Now that we've talked about like the other big dog of the set, let's go on and move on to Gorgon. Now, Gorgon at 45 points, I'm a fan. Because I think at that point you have a solid base for Inhumans between this and Earth X to just send him out there and make him a very decent character. That's it. It's just he's just that straightforward, being that cheap. Okay, let's move on to Silver Surfer. I'm gonna endorse Silver Surfer at 150 and at 75 for a couple of reasons. At 150, I believe in certain either Fantastic Four matchups, in a Cosmic team, or even a Defenders team. I'll push it that far. I'm not too sure about Annihilators. He has a place. He has a place, and he can lay down the damage. Now, does it suck that he only goes up to 4 damage? Yes. But considering everything that he does, I won't complain. So let's break it down. First off, he has Dawn Greenwood, Ordinary Girl from Earth. At the beginning of game, generate a Dawn Greenwood bystander. And Dawn Greenwood has Perplex, which again makes Silver Surfer really strong on Fantastic Four. Because you're able to just stack so much Perplex. Like, it's ridiculous how much Perplex that you can get. So, you have Enhancement, Perplex, but only to target a character named Silver Surfer. So this is Dawn Greenwood. And then when Dawn Greenwood is KO'd by an opponent's attack, modify Silver Surfer's combat values by +1 for the rest of the game. Oh yay! Like that's not horrible. Yeah, it's freaking great. And then she has a power if Dawn Greenwood is within 4 squares of an opposing character, place Silver Surfer adjacent from elsewhere on the map. Oh hey guy. I happen to have TK, and I'll just place my Dawn Greenwood like right over here by this Moloid, and she's going to take a power action and summon that overextended Silver Surfer right back like it's the bat signal. So he has a built-in bat signal. Okay. Is it conditional? Yes. But he has a built-in bat signal. I just want to point that out. Like how absurd that is. All right. Then going back to Silver Surfer. At 150, keep going with his movement power anywhere and everywhere. Hypersonic speed. When Silver Surfer uses it, after resolution, you may choose a character he hit or move through. So you could pick either. The chosen character gains immobile until your next turn. So this is the other interesting thing. So if I hit, like, let's say Dark Phoenix, but she rolls impervious, she takes 0 damage, and I just choose, she can't be placed. She can't move. Because it's like the chosen character gains immobile. You can't be moved or placed. She's stuck. No retail for you. And that is very controlly. That is very controlling. And I mean, even more so, hey, do you have a Hulk? I'm going to run through you. I'm going to run over you with Surfer. Now, is that going to stop Hulk from eventually getting out of his cage? No, it won't. But it buys me time. It buys Surfer some time to do whatever else that he's doing. And I would argue, like any other tentpole, like let's just even more so say Captain Marvel, or go over what's her name, so Black Widow. Like any top tier meta piece right now, Surfer just is like, if you need to be in my face and closer, I'm just going to run you over. And once I run you over and dip set back to where I came from, I am putting you in a situation where you can't be moved. And you're stuck. Okay. So I think it's interesting. At 150, again, starting with Prob is also great. We're going to look at its attack power. I only attack to defend. Free. Choose a standard attack power. An opposing character within 8 squares Silver Surfer can use that power until your next turn. You better not have Pulse Wave, because I will grenade you. I will send Surfer out to grenade and then use the other chick to bring him back. So yeah, like Surfer at 150 is good. He is really good. So I can't turn him down. Now at 75 points, I can easily say Surfer is still highly viable. And probably you're going to see more Surfer at 75 than you are Surfer at 150. The damage falls off a lot. He has shape change now, which is okay. He still gets Dawn Greenwood, which I feel is something that you shouldn't get. Like, Dawn Greenwood makes sense if I'm paying 150 points. Because I have an exclusive Perplex on Surfer, I have an enhancement on Surfer, and I have a power action recall Surfer from wherever he's at on the map. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Now, at 75 points, should that be caked in? And my answer is no. But I do say this. Are you getting your points worth in value from this rare? And the answer is, yeah, you are. You are. And it's great. But yeah, like 5 clicks, no stop click. Can he be one-shotted? Yes. Like it's current meta. Like he can easily die. So I would say, like, if you're playing him in a Fantastic Four team, like, you got to be a little bit more careful. Might even want to think about investing some perplexes into defense if you know that he's going to be exposed. But yeah, like, he's good. He's really good. All right, so let's move down to Karnak. Karnak at 40 points. 40 points, he's worth it. Definitely on the Inhumans team. Definitely going back and saying combine him with the Inhumans from Earth X. I think if you do that, you're going to have a very good set, a very good team. Between ABPI, Earth X, your Inhumans team should be stacked. I think is local level viable and strong enough. And I'm going to quote that, to have a good time and a competitive time in local play. You're not going to beat top tier meta teams, but in outside of some luck. But you are going to give the standard player a run for their money. How does Karnak fit into that? Well, first off, he's 40 points. Now, he doesn't have charge or anything, which does suck. But he does have close combat expert, outwit, and when Karnak has no action tokens and uses it, adjacent opposing characters can't use protected outwit or protected outwit or big protected outwit until your next turn. So in situations like when you're dealing with Justice League, not Justice League, Fantastic Four, taking away all the Franklin Richards, power cosmic, goodness, so you can outwit them is useful. So getting Karnak into position is going to be key, and even more so, making sure that he gets that line of fire, he gets that outwit off. Once he gets that outwit off, he proceeds to just shut the folks down, and I think that is great. Definitely, I think this removes Darkseid from the meta almost completely. Because if Karnak can just show up and shut him off, and Karnak is 40 points, yeah, like he's not long for competitive, like almost in any form or fashion, which is sad. Now I know some folks will be like how many people gonna play Karnak Dark Logos, which is fair. But I would definitely argue for Golden Age games, like you probably want to bring in Karnak, because shutting down protected outwit, that's just huge. All right, let's move on down. All right, so there's the Thing. Now, Thing is one of those like, yeah, he's mandatory for Fantastic Four, and this is Earth X Thing. And some of you might be saying, what? Why is he mandatory? Well, again, he has Buzz and Chuck, and he starts with those Pogs, and the fact that you're able to start with those Pogs and they're just baked into your point cost is ridiculous. The other thing, which I never, he's the other thing. the other element that I had not thought about until recently is the fact that when we look at the Thing, he just sits there and provides support. And he's a better defend than Invisible Woman. So when you know that you're dealing with a situation in which Invisible Woman is an 18 is not enough, and you don't need the TK and you can slow roll through, yeah, the Thing is huge. Because now I'm sitting on a 19 defend. He's grounded, so he's going to be carried. He has sidestep. He has empower. He has the Buzz and Chuck. At the beginning of the game, generate Buzz and Chuck bystanders. If your force is Fantastic Four theme, choose the chosen bystanders have autonomous symbol this game. They're autonomous, which just makes them all kinds more stupid. The Thing can't attack unless Buzz and Chuck was KO'd. Which I need to get on PJ about that, because he attacked me with the Thing with Buzz and Chuck still on the field. I don't know. I may have to look at that. But that in and of itself creates a issue. It makes him probably one of the best. It actually makes him one of the best support pieces in Fantastic Four. It's ridiculous in what he can do just by standing there. So he works well together with the other things in the set. No surprise. But overall, if we look at his second trait, Clobber You, what kind of unsophisticated slob do you think I am? Perplex, which again, Fantastic Four is dumb. When the Thing uses it, he may modify attack values by -2 instead of -1. I want you to understand how dumb he is as a support. So like let's just be 100 for a moment. He has sidestep super strength, which means he can equip you or go to get stuff to equip. He has a 19 defend, making it realistically really hard for you to hit whoever you're trying to hit. He has a 3 damage, which allows him to bust down walls. He also has Empower, which allows for his kids to run roughshod over you. The downsides is, oh, he has Invincible and Defend, and he's 4 clicks. So yeah, like don't sleep on the thing. I bought mine. I don't think he's unique, but you really want to get him. Now, if he's unique, then yeah, I'm wrong on that. And if not, he should have been, because that's too much. That's too much on the field. Anyway, going on. Let me check one more thing with that. All right. We can't check. And I'm going to check one more source here. All right, yeah. So verifying, yeah, thing is unique. So that is a reality. So okay, cool. Like, all right, yeah. Because if not, that would have been a problem. That would have been a grade A problem. All right, let's keep going down the list here, and we're going to talk about, real briefly, Buzz and Chuck. Buzz is charged super strength, 18 defense, Empower with 2 damage, which, if you think about it, he should be picking up objects the entire time. And Chuck is sidestep Quake, 2 damage, close combat expert. And I think they pair really well together. Definitely if you go in with Buzz first and set up the hit with the super strength object attack so that he's dealing his 3 damage, and then his brother comes in, sidesteps in, and close combat expert someone for, either putting it all into attack or going 1-1 to hit for 4. So I think that you need to consider that. Also, when they die, they have Fantastic Four keywords, so they heal all your Fantastic Four. Like, you can't sleep on that part. All right, so going into Ghost Rider. All right, so Ghost Rider. I like Ghost Rider here at 50 points because you have temporarily sent back by Johnny Blaze, King of Hell. When Ghost Rider would be KO'd for the first time, instead turn her to any click from 1 to 5. The next time she takes damage from an opponent's attack, KO her, Protected Pulse Wave. So this is pretty good. Next, you have Guardian Phantasma. Defend. This is her top click. Defend, energy, shield deflection, toughness, willpower. Adjacent friendly characters of equal or lower points, or that share a keyword with Ghost Rider, can use energy, shield deflection. So again, Fantastic Four. Why this keeps getting dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. The fact that it's like, hey, I have Defend is not so much big of a deal. But it's the fact that adjacent friendly characters of equal or lower points that share a keyword with Ghost Rider can use energy, shield deflection. Okay? Like, that's good. And that it has its uses. It has its uses. So, like, all of a sudden, like, just think about this. The thing now has energy, shield deflection, and he's a 21 defense. Sorry, yeah, he's a 21 defense. It's like, come on. So, now there is Ghost Rider at 80 points. Oops, did I click on the wrong Ghost Rider? I think I clicked. No, I clicked on the wrong Ghost Rider. No. Hold up just a second. 50 points and 40 points. Okay, Ghost Rider at 40 points, I'm not a fan so much. 40-point Ghost Rider, and again, it's a super rare prime. And that's the one that I would run, but I mean, let me rephrase, I'm not so much a fan because I am bringing it up. I look at it as if I'm playing this on Fantastic Four, I'm more likely to play Black Leopard on Fantastic Four than I am Ghost Rider. I'm not again, Black Leopard is the easier one to get, but Ghost Rider, like, yeah, I see why. So it says Circle of 4, if Ghost Rider hasn't been moved or placed this turn, modify attack and damage by +1. Spirit of Vengeance, power. If no friendly character has been placed this turn, choose an opposing character that attacked a friendly character since your last turn. Just attacked, not damaged. I want to make that clear. Place Ghost Rider such that she can make a close attack targeting the chosen character, then do so. The fact that she's going to... This isn't a retail limitation. I only do blank damage. You can up her. You can just up her damage. She can carry a light and just boop over and like whack a dude. Okay? Don't be deceived on that. Okay, so, and she has prob. So the fact that she can boop over, hit with all the modifiers that she wants, hit for full modifiers, and it's an action, is worth it. It gives you a Colossal Retaliator. Or let me phrase it. It gives you a Colossal Retaliator without having a Colossal Retaliator. Okay. You also have a stop click, which is again just as ridiculous. Yeah. So I think that you're in. Or sorry, you couldn't use a light with that. I apologize. It's a close tech. You couldn't. You have to do an object. Yeah, blah 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 stuff. But you can do modifiers, and you can just light someone up. And with Fantastic Four, you have how many perplexes? Literally, how many perplexes do you have? At least 3 to 4 on your team when you're running it. And that's if you're building like a generic, low-value team. You dumped all your money buying the super rare prime. You have it. You can build a team with at least 3 perplexes. Like if you get Valeria in the Thing, you're already winning. Not Von Doom, but Richards. You're already winning. So yeah, like I think you run this, but it becomes tough because overall, like Ghost Rider can get called out in a weird way and cause Ghost Rider just die if you misplay this power. And I would rather have if I'm re-navigating people around, I'd rather have a low value surfer if my points are tight in my reshuffling than to have Ghost Rider. And even more so, I would rather have my opponent have their attack values locked at 10 or even 9 coming in trying to attack me than to have this. Okay. So is this a horrible figure? No. But I do think in the setup, depending on play style, you have to determine, am I looking for a high stat, high defense, odds-based game, or am I running a Fantastic Four base team that's like in your face, come get some sucker? And that's the difference. Because if you're running a I'm in your face, come get some sucker team, then Ghost Rider fits. Now, I know some of you also say, but Dark Logos, he also has Mystical. Yes, he also does have Mystical, which unfortunately he is competing against some very good figures in other primes. So if you want to say I'm going to run him on a mystical team, and you're running the Dr. Fates and all the other silliness, and you're just like, yo, let's go with it, then fine. I'm clapping it up for you for that. But other than that, it's rough. Now I know some of you say, but Dark Logos, why aren't you going to run Ghost Rider at higher points and blah 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 blah, and just think about having that trait at higher points? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm still an 11 for 3 for 100 points. I'm still an 11 for 3. Like, that's not good. Okay? It's not good. So I don't see the value unless you're playing sealed or whatchamacallit, battle royales. That's the only reason to. Okay, so again, is this a bad figure? No. Fantastic Four, will you play it again? Only if you I'm gonna come bring the pain and bring the ruckus, bring the raw. But yeah. So next up is Wolverine. This dude makes me like, he minor triggers me. Okay, he minor triggers me, and the reason he minor triggers me is because he is don't die on a team. Let me phrase it. It's hard to kill on a team full of high stat mods on average. And he's annoying. He is just that annoying. So let's just go through it. First off, a new kind of fantastic teamwork. When Wolverine hits with a close attack until your next turn, friendly character with a Fantastic Four keyword can use Flurry. Now, I want you to think about the Thing with Flurry, Buzz and Chuck with Flurry, Silver Surfer with Flurry, Franklin Richards with Flurry, Valeria with Flurry, your number of things with Flurry. I just go ahead. We're all going to McDonald's because we're going to get that McFlurry. Now, some of you might say still, Dark Logos, he has 11 attack on a team that has like 18 perplexes. I'm just trying to make that clear. There's like 18 perplexes. There's more perplexes on a Fantastic Four team than there are members of Phoenix Nest. Nudge, nudge, jab, jab. Okay, but realistically, like, all jokes aside, the dude is going to hit. The dude's going to hit. Wolverine is going to hit. He doesn't even have to. If he doesn't even have to hit twice, he just has to hit once. Okay, so there's that. I don't stay down easy when Wolverine would be KO'd, except by this trait. Instead, put him on this card with 4 healing tokens. At the beginning of your turn, remove a healing token. When you remove the last one, place him on the map on click 6. Within 4 squares of a friendly character with a Fantastic Four keyword. If you can't KO him, protected pulse wave. Why couldn't he just say with a friendly character? With the keyword that he has. Because if he did, X-Men comes back with a vengeance. With a vengeance. Okay? And I don't think there's any other X-Men that has the Fantastic Four keyword in Modern. And I understand why they did it, to pump Fantastic Four. But, yo, X-Men needs some love. Because y'all took my jet, buddy. You took my jet before its time. Now, I understand you had to retire the ID cards. But could you at least let my jet stay? Could you at least let me keep my jet? Anyway. So, all of a sudden, Wolverine becomes the roach that won't die. Okay? He becomes the roach that doesn't die, because all like his complete ability to survive multiple encounters being thrown out there is ridiculous. And again, if you are a person that's like, yo, we're going deep in on this one, having Ghost Rider pairs perfectly with Wolverine. Okay? Because Wolverine is just like, ugh, I'm the best at what I do, bub. Let's go. That's just slice, dice. And then, oh, you killed Wolverine. For shame. What shall I do with my 18 perplexes in a Ghost Rider? Like, yeah, so there's a problem. So keep going. The new Fantastic Four, Passenger One, but only to carry characters with the Fantastic Four keyword. Once per turn, when Wolverine is carried and placed adjacent to two opposing characters after resolution, he may make a close attack. Yeah. So again, that's happening because again we have all the perplexes. We have all the perplexes. Like, so that's a thing. Okay. Then we have his special power, which is Charge, Flurry, Sidestep. When Wolverine KOs an opposing character after resolution, remove an action token from him. So I have Charge, Flurry, Blades, Sidestep. And when I hit, my teammates also get Flurry. That's a lot of synergy. That makes everything character thing, not everything. Everything character in this set 50 times more powerful. Every single one of them. And even more so, let's go back and look at Buzz and Chuck. Because reasons, all right? Buzz and Chuck. So when we look at Buzz and Chuck, and I know some folks will be like, why are you going back to Buzz and Chuck? To bring up a point about the synergy. Okay. Where are you? All right, here we go. Buzz. Again, now Buzz is Charge Flurry. Buzz is now Charge Flurry with Empower if Wolverine hits. Chuck is Sidestep Flurry if Wolverine hits. He doesn't necessarily get as much out of it. But the fact is, if Buzz is already there, that means Chuck is hitting for 3. Now, again, some folks might say, that's not ridiculous numbers, Dark Logos. Why are you stressing? And it's the fact that these dudes are autonomous. It's the fact that they can keep on trucking. And there's no issue. Okay? So, again, I'm trying to point out, like, he is probably in the top 5 strongest figures in this set. And I'm feeling like personally he's sitting at number 3. He's sitting at number 3. In terms of just overall power of what he can do for a team. And I would make the argument just off the top of my head. And I know some folks are going to be like, spoilers, I'm not, I don't like it. It's like, I would say number 1 in terms of power and utility in this set right now has to just be all the Invisible Womans. Because they allow for too much shenanigans to happen. Like, regardless of what anybody else says, if I combine all the Invisible Womans into one character, they provide too much utility by being able to swap in Fantastic Four members. And that's what creates a problem. I would then immediately say Number 2 is tied, and I know some folks are going to hate me for when I say this. It's tied for The Thing and Valeria. Bill Cosby sweater The Thing. He just does too much. He does too much. Like, there's no ignoring what he does. And I broke it down. He sits there, and I will say, like, I have not seen a support piece this good since Fast Force's Scarlet Witch. I haven't. He perplexes. He can theme prop. He can defend. He has empower. He does so much. He generates pogs. The only thing he doesn't do is come over and hand you a frappuccino in between rounds, saying, like, yeah, that was a good game that we had there. I feel like I stood there really good. Really good. I helped the kids. I watched the kids beat up some guys. It was a good game. No, yeah, like, that's the only thing he doesn't do. And then there's Wolverine, and then I would argue there's God Doom. Okay? And I know I piss people off saying that. But yeah, God Doom is not as good as Wolverine. Because if I kill God Doom doesn't come back on the third day. Okay? So, yeah, like, there's a problem. There, like, oh gosh. But yeah, Wolverine is one of the strongest figures in the set. I'm glad he's unique. And I don't think he needs an errata. I think he's fine as he is. And he offers so much to Fantastic Four that it's ridiculous. All right, next up is Agent Venom. And I like Agent Venom for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, he has like almost every keyword under the sun. Next, he is also Fantastic Four. He has improved movement, ignores, elevated, and hindering. He also has Circle of 4. If Agent Venom hasn't been moved or placed this turn, modify attack by and damage by +1. Call in help from me. Once per turn, when another friendly character that shares a keyword with Agent Venom hits, after resolutions, you may roll a d6, 3 through 6, place Agent Venom adjacent to a hit opposing character. Okay? So, again, we're looking at a form of retail. It's a situational retail, but I don't have to waste my prime slot on it. And the fact that I have it makes me feel a little bit better. Now, again, you could say, but Dark Logos, who's only going to hit you for exactly 3? I mean, fair. That is fair. Sorry, never mind. I take that back. The fact that, he could just drop in. Yeah, so it creates a situation where Ghost Rider actually is not as good. Having the prob does help, but she's really not as good. Then plasticity, shape change on your with your symbiote. Then you can push, and this is the part that I like the most about Agent Venom, and in terms of playing him on your Fantastic Four team, to really just troll people. You push him to click 2, and he just says adjacent friendly characters can use shape change. 19 defend, ESD, shape change, and surfers running around. What do you do? What do you do? Like, that is hard to deal with. Now, yes, it can be outwitted. But if you're concerned about that, okay, I give up the ESD to run Franklin. Now my crew is immune to pulse. Is sorry, not immune to pulse. So it can't be outwitted. So guess what, homie? I'm protected outwit. My entire crew has shape change. I got Wolverine or Surfer running around doing stupid stuff. And I have Bill Cosby thing just chilling with me, handing out snacks and cookies and pudding pops. And I know some folks might say, like, Dark Logo's getting that angry voice in him. I'm not. I'm actually sort of hype. But I also have played... I've played too much against Fantastic Four, so there's a little bit of bitter in me. The overall strength that is there, utility-wise, and if you can figure out how to put it all together, it's strong. It's strong. It's even strong. It's means-worthy. Okay? All right, next up, it's just so good. Next up is Annihilus. I have to bring up Annihilus because of Fantastic Four. In a lot of other teams, I don't think Annihilus is as good, but against Fantastic Four, the way that they're rigged, I would definitely say Pocket Annihilus. So here's why. First off, he has power heal. Heal Annihilus equal to the number of negative energy tokens. Can't stop living. Invincible. This click is revealed. Give Annihilus a negative energy token. Okay, cool. So if you play him at 175, you're going to get 4 of those. Outwit. Damage power. Outwit. When Annihilus is attacked, any positive modifiers of the attacker's attack value becomes negative. When Annihilus attacks a single character, any positive modifiers of the target's defense value becomes negative. So, again, going back to Fantastic Four, the fact that you're able to just say, yo, you have a 19 defend plus energy shield deflection and a perplex. You're -3 defense. So you're a 16 when I come hit you. I don't care that Black Leopard is on the map. It's going to be a 10 on a 16. And that is where it becomes ridiculous. And if you're like way far off or whatever, you're not even affected by Black Leopard. It's a 12 on a 16 needing a 4. Okay. So that is the only reason why I feel like Annihilus has a place in the game right now. Because Fantastic Four is going to be dumb. And there are some other teams that have some stat modifiers that are a little silly. But the fact that he can't see through hindering at 175 is a problem. Having the multiple stop clicks... actually, no, those aren't even stop clicks. Yeah, they're not even stop clicks. So, yeah, you could be blown past those. So, I'll take that back. Game design, you should have made those stop clicks. And I know some of you would be like, oh, why should he get stop clicks? Because Ultron did. And Ultron didn't have all this move and attack. And if you want to try to shift the game to make the villains challenging, you need to do stuff like this. And I'm not just saying that from the RP standpoint and the comic book recreation, but legit. A majority of our battles are heroes on heroes. There are very few villains that are useful in the game. And it's like, name 3 villains. You can name some antagonists. You can even name some anti-heroes. But most of the characters that are useful are heroes, not villains. So, you'd be like, but God Doom is not a villain in this story. He is functionally, if you think about it, a protagonist / anti-hero. That's it. He saved existence. Okay, but we had to defeat Doom. Why? Why? Because he's Doom. That doesn't make any sense. He's tyrannical leader. The cost to pay for existence. Like, that's I know for me arguing that, but I'm like, he isn't the bad guy in this. Functionally, you can argue Reed is, but yeah. Now him sort of like pseudo cucking himself, like legit, like you would have thought like maybe he would have like rewrote some history stuff where like Valeria and Franklin were like his kid's DNA and stuff, like whatever. But anyway, that to me is a little messed up. But jacking your nemesis wife, that is some grade A villainy. But everything else, yeah. Anyway, going back, give us some villains that are worth a darn, whiz kids. But Annihilus doesn't stand up, and that's like in the long run. But he is something to consider because of Fantastic Four. I would say do not gimp yourself and play him at 175. Just go ahead and commit to the one. Do not gimp yourself playing him at 125. Just commit to the full 175. All right. Moving on. Yeah. So we're close enough to the end. I don't have to make another segment. All right, so then there's Super Skrull, and I'm looking at Super Skrull primarily at his higher value because I feel like you get more out of Super Skrull that way. And I want to be honest when I also say the following. Super Skrull is a above average character that has a chance of potentially being in the meta depending on what theme you play him with, and also if you're running him in duplicate. Let me break that down. So let's just look at his ability, which is the powers of the Fantastic Four. At the beginning of your turn, choose 2. Super Skrull has the listed effects until your next turn. Invisible Woman is sidestep, stealth, barrier. Barrier asks free, but only to generate 1 marker, so you can't even use standard barrier. The Thing, charge, impervious, close combat expert. Mr. Fantastic, plasticity, super senses, giant reach 4. Human Torch, running shot, energy explosion, range of 6. Now, let's go into why this is a big deal and why functionally you're looking at multiplicity. Okay. Number one, Super Skrull is not unique. And the fact that he is not unique creates a ability which Super Skrulls can stack. And it becomes a bigger deal when you start talking about incorporating Frightful 4. If you're running him with Frightful 4, you're either looking at 100 or I think it's the 75 point dial. You're not even considering the 50 unless you have some equipment that you're trying to put in there, which does make him a little bit better, okay? Or make your Frightful 4 a bit better because you're able to fit in equipment. If you're running him at 75 points, you're just run him Frightful 4 and just go. 50 or 75 points, you're more likely to be more successful with Frightful 4 than you are on any of the other keywords. Now, sorry, I'll take that back. 75 points, Frightful 4, you're more successful. 100 points, Frightful 4, only if you're going with 3 Frightful 4 and heavy gear. So you're running a Cosmic Cube or an Infinity Gauntlet. Okay? Or you're running like 2 pieces of equipment, like a gem and specs or something like that. Then I can be like, yeah, that makes sense. All right. So the next thing that comes in is when we're looking at Super Skrull. I'm gonna go, and I didn't do this for most of the other figures, but I'm doing this for Super Skrull not only just for the fact that I love Skrulls, but also for the fact that I personally feel that Scrolls has the ability to be meta positive, in the sense of they're at that C plus to B minus depending on how you build them, and they can have a lot of utility or hardly any utility, and that can be really, really frustrating. All right, so when we're looking at it, and I know some of you are going to be like, you didn't like the Prime Silver Surfer Dark logos. You said you like scrolls. Why didn't you talk about it? And the reason I didn't talk about it, real brief, at 70 points, I feel like he only has utility on scrolls. He can get Pulse Wave real quick and die. He is a heavy investment for your team. He only really has a place, in my opinion, on Scrolls and Spy. And that's about it. I don't think he has a place on Neo Cosmic. I just don't. Like, just being 100. If you do run him on Scrolls, you have to have Super Scroll on your team. And you have to have the Scroll General. There's just too many other problems that he has if you don't. You have to be able to get him into the fray and out of the fray real easily. And if he can't fully get out of the fray, he's dead. And yeah, like, he also needs a Remaker Ring at minimum. I could not see running him without Remaker Ring. And I know some of you be like, well, why is that? Because he has Scrolls team ability. He's going to roll Shape Change on a 4 through 6, which he needs. He really needs it. I'm not kidding. He really needs that. Okay. So let's like fast forward back to Super Scroll. So also, like, he's one Pulse Wave away from dead. Like, anyway, sorry. Going back to Super Scroll. So Super Scroll at 100 becomes really, really strong for the first reason is I am going to equip him. I am either going to give him exospecs, which allows me to add a insane amount of flexibility, or I am giving him an Infinity Gauntlet, which again is a huge amount of flexibility, or I'm giving him Remaker, which adds to his survivability. And if I'm giving him Remaker, I'm probably also giving him Nightbringer, or what's the other one? Like, I have Energy Explosion. Oh, this is bad. Like, I can't remember the ring. It's like I have, is it Daimonic? It's the ring that gives you, I think it gives you a minimum range. And like Energy Explosion. Prove targeting, hindering. No, it's not Daimonic. Ooh. Not Influence, not Spin. It's definitely not Spectral. Incandescence. Nope. I thought Incandescence gave you... never mind. Incandescence doesn't give you a minimum range. I'll take that back. So, yeah. Yeah, take that back. All right, so yeah, I'm definitely giving him Remaker and probably Spectral, or Remaker and Zero. That's definitely if I'm doing the doubles. But at 100 starting off, I'm definitely looking at Super Scroll like with equipment. Like, I cannot emphasize it enough, like how much I'm looking at Super Scroll with equipment, because when you're talking about a situation where I'm able to add on additional powers on top of me being able to choose very decent power sets, very point blank power sets, yeah, it negates so many disadvantages he has. And then when you stack that with Frightful 4, it also creates a very bad situation for your opponent. Because now you're hitting him for less, or he has a higher defense, or like for Medusa on the field, he just flat has shape change. So he has shape change his entire dial. And I know some of you might be saying like that's a waste. And it's like, no, it's not. Because that means I can get more aggressive in my equipment selection. Like a lot more aggressive. Like definitely guaranteed exospecs at that point. Okay. So yeah, like there is no disadvantage on that. Invisible Woman provides a perfect situation where I can use sidestep stealth. You pretty much have these two markups, and they split them up, but they shouldn't have, because it's clear which your combos are, because you get to pick two. You're going to play Invisible Woman and Human Torch 90% of the time, and then you're going to pick Mr. Fantastic and The Thing the other 90% of the time in your pairings. Okay, that's it. That's all you're picking in those pairings. You're very, very rarely ever going to pick the Invisible Woman with Mr. Fantastic or Invisible Woman with The Thing. You're really more than likely not going to do Human Torch in The Thing or Human Torch in Mr. Fantastic. It doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense unless you're dealing with a lot of Psychic Blast. Okay, so when you start taking inventory of what you have, like even if I said I'm going to have a soul gem, I'm going to make old school Super Scroll. Oh heck no, not even no. You're better off with specs. Yeah, screw that. Yeah, you're better off with specs. You can make old school, just about old school Super Scroll. Okay, zombie Super Scroll, because you can just be like, I pick Steel Energy, I'm going to pick Mr. Fantastic, and then I'm going to pick The Thing. I'm going to charge you with my Steel Energy, mind you, with a Giant Reach 4, or I'm going to stand where I'm at and use Close Combat Expert, up my stats, and then be like, yo, I hit you for 4 or 5, and now I heal 1. And I have Super Senses in Impervious. And the fact that you have a Super Senses Impervious combination makes Super Scroll a major threat. A major threat. Because now you're talking about, just like old zombie Super Scroll, the only way you're really going to get him down is Pulse Wave. Like, that's it. That's the only way that you're going to be killing him is Pulse Wave. So when we're looking at a 100-point Super Scroll with an Exospecs or any sort of equipment, he brings the heat. And it's subtle. Now, is he like top 10 figures in the set? Yeah, he's probably number 10. But when we're still like breaking it down and getting at the crunchy of it, okay, he has the potential to disrupt enough things. Like having to, like, let's look at this. You are a base character, super strength brawler. You go to attack Super Scroll at 100 points on top click. Let's just say you have a 10 attack. You have to first get past a shape change on a 4 through 6. Then you have to roll the 8 to hit. Let's say you hit, then you have to get past the Super Senses and the Impervious. That's a lot. I'm not saying it's insurmountable, but that is a lot for you to have to go through. And if any of those 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 4 stages of failure. Fail at the shape change, fail at the attack roll, fail at the impervious, fail at the super senses. That's a lot of stages of failure. Okay? And for any individual to have to navigate through that. Even let's just say let's try to remove one and say that you have a dice replacement and you have a high attack like a 12, okay? You still have to deal with that shape change. And this is why I said, like, Frightful 4, he is scary. Because now I put the wizard on there, and you can't outwit me if the wizard has line of fire. Yes, there are tons of things that you can do to block wizard's line of fire. But how much effort do you have to do on that? Like seriously, how much effort do you have to do? And then even more so, going back to exospecs. Oh, I'm in this hindering terrain, and I pick Mr. Fantastic. I'm stealth. After all said, I'm stealth. I've done my sidestep. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I'm stealth. It's a lot. So, like I said, Super Scroll at 100 points is the main one that I want to sell to you. Because you would play him on a Frightful 4 with 3 members and equipment and just scare people. 75 points, you're playing like a raw Frightful 4 where it's actually 4 of them. Because most of the Frightful 4 that are worth a darn are not under 75 points. I think minus that Punisher. Nope, he's 75 points too. So yeah, like the Punisher, he's Frightful 4 as well. So at 75 points. So yeah, you're playing him at 75 points on Frightful 4 just to be that Frightful 4 guy. You're not getting any equipment. If you're thinking about scrolls, then you're playing him with the Prime Surfer, and you're also playing him. You're playing him with Prime Surfer. I don't see where you're playing him with Cosmic at this stage. Soldier, maybe, if you have some weird combination or whatnot. Okay. Then we have Super Scroll at 50, which is where I am going to make the argument for in this sense. This Super Scroll is good on all of his keywords and good on Frightful 4 if you are going to try to go for 4 Frightful 4 and equipment. If you're going for 4 Frightful 4 and equipment, this Super Scroll is really good. I would also say you really want to be playing Medusa when you're doing it. And maybe you don't have to have Wizard at this stage so much, but I definitely would encourage you to play like Claw and Living Laser. Because that way you're not so much dependent on having to go to Human Torch as much. Because I think, Claw gives you Energy Shield, and so you get that from Human Torch. And you could equip on a 0 ring on Super Scroll, and he can start being your barrier interference guy. Because he can use barrier as free. Now, I don't know how that would interact with the 0 ring. If he could generate 2 barriers, because if he could generate 2 barriers, then that ups his utility exponentially. So, yeah. There are 2 different sources of barrier as free, so I don't know if you have to pick a source. So I'll say hypothetically right now, just to be safe, you have to pick a source, and whether it's the ring or it's his trait. So I would definitely, again, more so argue as well. He's a pulse wave away from dying. Like, just accept that. Like, if you're playing him that way. So if you can accept that, just know, like, he's a pulse wave away from dying. Just accept it. But all in all, he is at 50 points, I would argue he is probably one of the best secondary attackers in the game right now at 50 points. Definitely in the top 25, not the top 5. Definitely not top 5. But around somewhere, I would argue, between 11 and 15. Yeah, 11, 15. He's somewhere floating around there. All right. So yeah. So again, Super Scroll. I know, like I just did like a huge 15-minute breakdown on Super Scroll, but I really want you to understand the validity of Super Scroll. Not that he's this super huge, overpowered Super Scroll like he was in the past, but the fact that he comes in and creates a massive amount of disruption for your opponents. He is able to be the attacker that you want him to be. And with equipment, I'm not going to say that he's unstoppable, but he definitely punches above his point category at 175 points. And at 50 points, he's an excellent third attacker on a team. All right, we're wrapping things up. We're getting close to the end here. Next up is God Doom. God Emperor Doom. And I'm going to talk about him at the 2 points that I think that you're actually going to see him in competitive is 200 and 100. At 200 points, God Doom is going to be your main attacker. Minions of Doom is going to help him heal back up when he starts KOing stuff. And Power Cosmic is going to be useful for him. Excuse me. Is going to be useful for him to protect himself from all the shenanigans that are going to be coming at him, sort of some of the time. And the fact that we have so many things that could take away his team abilities makes God Doom not as viable as people think. Okay? He's not as viable at 200 as people may think. Because Kobik still exists and there's other characters, like even Karnak, that just comes in and says, like, you know, nice Power Cosmic you have there. Nice Protected Outwit you have there. It would be a shame if something would happen to it. Coming in at a 9 range, I would also say that this is a positive and a negative. It's positive because it's a 9 range, and on a very open map like WWE Arena, he can light you up. The downside is that you're paying for that 9 range inside of your point cost of your character that's baked in, and there are too many maps in the current game state that just limit his range down to 6. And in some cases as low as like 4. Okay? So that is a huge problem with God Doom. Is that he needs an open map to get the most bang for his buck. And coming in at 200 points, that's going to be really, really hard to do. It's not impossible, but getting the fodder to to put in there it's not impossible, but it's difficult. And because it's super difficult, I think you have a lot to consider running him at 200 points. But let's start breaking it down. First off, he has improved targeted, hindering this character can make. Also, he can shoot out of adjacency. Okay. Then he has, and do you have an Infinity Gauntlet now? Free. Choose an opposing character within range and line of fire. That character can't use the effect of equipment until your next turn. That is good, because that creates a situation in which Doom can start shutting certain things down to give him the distinct advantage that he needs to stay competitive. Then God of Battle World. When establishing theme teams, God Emperor Doom gains all Battle World keywords. Leadership, Perplex, Colossal Stamina. When God Emperor Doom uses Perplex to target another character with a Battle World keyword, you may instead modify combat values by +2 or -2. This is nice, but I will again also say you need to be playing with Battle World. So unfortunately, at 200 points, you are definitely primary playing with your adopted pseudo children, which is Franklin and Valeria. You're playing with those two, okay? And that's that's your 300 point team. Is we're taking the kids out, or it's date night with Sue. Like literally, that's what it is. Or it's divorcing your goddad Sue, Valeria, Franklin, and you're running like a Mr. Fantastic and equipment to go fight God Doom. Okay, all kidding aside, the reality is he is very limited in what he can crank out. And even if you said, "Hey, Dark Logos, I have lot variant engineers." Oh yeah, you do. You do. Are they worth it in this situation? Like, okay, so you're going to run Doom with Doom bots. Oh, let's go look at Doom bots real quick. And it says for all characters with this power, with a friendly character with Latvarian ruler. Okay, so I got Latvarian and ruler, and I go back to Goddamn. Okay, so I have Latvarian ruler. Okay, so there we go. So there is some utility like right there. So I am functionally running Doom bots, at least 3 to 4 Doom bots in Valeria. That is still rough. That is still very rough to deal with, and a lot of weight onto God Doom at 200 points. Next trait, God of Battle World. When establishing theme teams, God Emperor Doom gains... Oh, sorry, I did that. The Wrath of Doom cannot be ignored. Close. Make a close attack. Other characters can't use powers during that attack. While this is nice, this should just be make an attack. I have a 9 range, and you give me a 10 move charge. That don't make any sense. That does not make a lick of sense. How am I making up a 9 square difference, WizKids, and then going in and making this attack? That is a huge problem. You didn't think that through. You should have at least given me like Giant Reach 2. Okay? To do this ability. Alright, so there's that. Or give me a higher movement. And a lot of people would say, but then he would just run away. And I'm like, he has charge. If God Doom is running away, that means he's not attacking. Now, again, I could give him exospecs to make him broke strong. Fair enough. But at 200 points, if I'm investing exospecs on him, I might as well not play him at 200 points. I might as well just look at the 100 and be done with it. And I'm bringing up the 200 point because you're going to see 200 point Doom. Like, bear witness to this moment. You will see 200 point Doom being played. Okay? Someone's going to do it at some tournament. And they're going to be like, look, man, I got a God Doom. Check him out. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Okay? I'm just glad he wasn't an Ultra Chase. Like how much... He would have been stupid then. Alright, so then next you have... you had to meddle, didn't you? Stop. Okay, so I have 2 stop clicks, which is important. They're on damage power, which is great. Okay, Battle Fury. Oh, you just gimped my 9 range. I'm already facing Mr. Fantastic whooping my butt. Yeah, I banged your wife, but I adopted your kids. Exploit weakness. When this click is first revealed, remove all action tokens from God Emperor Doom. This is good. In the remove tokens, the Battle Fury is not. That's crap. So, like, all in all, this is a problem. Now, I know you're going to be like, but Dark Logos, he has still energy. So if he hits, he really hits, and then they can't shape change out of it. That's like, oh, okay. Giving Doom a 9 range from a design standpoint, when you want to make him this much of a close combat brawler, does not make sense. Either his special power should be range based or like within 6 or 4. Or you should have thought of a whole new set of powers to equip him that fits his power set. Instead of doing this, sometimes I'm a range guy, sometimes I'm a melee guy. Like, no, you shouldn't have done that, WizKids. And if you're like, oh, but Top Dial Dark Logos, he's this super heavy brawler. I mean, super heavy, shooter, sniper guy. And I'm like, at 300 points, he should at minimum have 6 damage. Doom should be deleting dudes. He should not be playing around and giving light taps. He should have 1 click of 6. If I'm paying 300 points for a figure, he should have 1 click of 6. If I do not have 1 click of 6, there's a problem. Because, again, Fantastic freaking Four are going to roll into Doom and be like, it doesn't matter if you have a 13 attack, if you have 0 damage, if you only have 2 damage, because guess what? I have 18 perplexes. Oh, you have a 13 attack, Doom? Let's make you a 10 attack, 2 damage. Because I have 18 perplexes. It's some stuff. It's stuff that people don't think about. Like, you should have gave him something that like Dr. Richards had. Like, that would have made sense. Oh, you perplex me, Doombot. You perplex me? No, you do not perplex me. I get a Enigma token, magic token, whatever. When Doom would be attacked, remove an Enigma token or whatever. Doom can re-roll shape change or replace a die. Have someone re-roll a die or something like that, so that you just can't dick around and mess with Doom like that. But no, that's too much. Like, okay. And I know some folks will be like, and this is the man that raged about Ultra Chase Thanos. Yes, because he was an Ultra Chase and he had an elite piece of equipment that was tied to him. Okay, if he was a Chase, I would not have raged on him as much. I still would have said he would have been calmed the heck down just a little bit more. But yeah, like God Doom, this is a problem. Okay, so rolling on to looking at God Doom at 100. This is probably the play. I'm not saying for sure, but if you're going to play God Doom, it's more likely going to be at 100 on a Battle World team, and you're going at it. Okay, so yeah, like that right there, crank out all of your Battle World guys, and it's like, let's go, let's have a fun fight. And the Battle World has a good chance of coming out because of all the +2 modifiers that are floating around. Like, go break off that Destroyer Thor and your Big Boss Hill, and let's go. All right, so let's look at Valeria Von Doom. If you don't know what Valeria does by now, let's just do the summary of knockback is dumb. So let's just like keep it simple. And also placement is dumb. Hunting anomalies from other worlds. Free, roll a d6 and place Valeria Von Doom up to that many squares away. When an opposing character is placed within 4 squares in line of fire, after resolutions, deal them 1 penetrating damage. Boop. There you go. Finding out the truth about Father. When a friendly character KOs an opposing character of lower points than them, give Valeria Von Doom an action token that does not deal pushing damage. This can gimp her. Having played in some test games, this can gimp her really, really bad. Not to the point where she's unplayable, but to the point in which you really need to be mindful of how you're doing your order of actions. Okay. Next up is head of the Institute for Gifted Use. Leadership, perplex. When Valeria Von Du uses leadership and succeeds, choose a friendly character within 4 squares. In line of fire, that character can use outwit until your next turn. All right, so I forgot the hunting anomalies from the other world. Second part. When an opposing character is placed within 4 squares in line of fire after resolutions, deal them 1 penetrating damage. Okay. So Valeria creates a situation where she wants to be on the tip of the spear. And the fact that she can be on Fantastic Four teams is stupid. Functionally, Valeria is the bubble that they all huddle around so they don't get colossal retaliated. And the fact that they can do that, regardless of all the other jank that can happen, makes Valeria Von Doom top tier, I would argue almost mandatory for all Fantastic Four teams. Just for the fact that you have your pseudo retaliator guys, and on top of everything else, you also have your own retaliation protection. And that is what I feel brings the Fantastic Four to the tipping point, where they are A- to A+ depending on what you have. And if you have Valeria, that option is ridiculously strong. And you can't ignore it, in my opinion. You just can't ignore it. All right. So yeah, let's keep going. Franklin Von Doom. Franklin Von Doom is good for the following reasons. Number 1, he has telekinesis. He also has a stop click that just makes him dumb for 2 clicks in a row. Power Cosmic, team ability, colossal symbol, impervious, and 7 movement, 13 attack, 5 damage, psychic blast, 2 targets. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Battle World Other. Hey guy, is adopted daddy still alive? Yeah. Is the nice policeman Sheriff Strange still alive? I'm psychic blasting you for 7. Yeah. So it's ridiculous. My thoughts and desires come to fruition. Free choose 1. If 5 of or less of Franklin Von Doom's generated terrain markers are on the map, generate a terrain marker hindering water blocking. So they just stay in an adjacent square, or remove all terrain markers except debris from a square within range and line of fire. So you can't undo broken walls, but you can get rid of all them smoke clouds. So yeah. So that is big, and the reason I'm also going to argue that this is big is for the Widow teams that are dependent on the Poison Ivy's greenhouse. That stage and area bonus is no longer safe. Okay. Then you have, let's see, you have the incapacitate, telekinesis, the stop click. You also have probability control, outwit, but only when Franklin Von Doom occupies a terrain marker. Now, not his terrain marker, a terrain marker. And that is important because you can't just drop him in hindering. He has to generate a terrain in an adjacent square and then move into that square unless you have somebody else. Excuse me. Unless you have somebody else generating terrain markers as well. So it sounds super awesome until you realize this is a 2-turn setup. But other than that, it's great. So Yeah. Reed Richards, Fixer of Universes, and yeah, Prize Support Moment. Those are only two left. So we're almost done. Reed Richards, Fixer of Universes, he's primarily good and on here for number one. If you like playing whatchamacallit, Jason Wingard, you want him specifically for his Molecule Man. The fact that Molecule Man can shoot and snipe most retaliators and then disappear at the end of the turn. So if there's multiple retaliators, there's nothing to shoot at. Makes Molecule Man a valid play for adjacent teams that are scared of Retal, especially that Dark Phoenix. Then you have his plot points. And I will argue this. This is probably one of the most creative Mr. Fantastics that I've seen. So again, if depending on how you are set up, you may want to think about having him on your sideboard. So continuity, when Reed Richards, Fixer of Universes KO, generate a Molecule Man bystander in an opponent's starting area that's friendly to that force. Depending on where the battle is at, that may or may not be a game changer. Okay. All right. So then you have his +1. No more super heroics for a while. Just science. Free. Outwit Perplex until your next turn. +1. This is the +1. At the end of your turn, heal Reed Richards, Fixer of the Universes 1 click if he targeted 1+ opposing characters with Outwit or Perplex this turn. So you functionally just get a +1 and not have to worry about taking damage. Okay? Then you have a +0. Uncovering the real source of Doom's power. Free. If Reed Richards, Fixer Universes occupies an opponent's starting area, generate a Molecule Man bystander. Now note, you are going to take damage if you don't make an attack that turn. But in all reality, it doesn't matter. You just got a Molecule Man that just popped out. And he's going to start causing problems. Okay, -1. Convincing Owen to unwrite Victor's Twisted Reality. Free. If Reed Richards, Fixer of Universes, is adjacent to Molecule Man, roll a d6. Deal that much unavoidable damage to the lowest point character on an opponent's force. You choose if there is a tie. Now, why is this huge? Because if Molecule Man does everything that a molecule can. Yeah, it's a song. It's They Might Be Giants, and they had it on Tiny Toon Adventures. It was one of my favorite ones that they did with the wrestlers. At the end of your turn, if Molecule Man is outside a starting area, KO him. Okay? Then Reed Richards says, free. If Reed Richards, the Fixer Universe, is in an opponent's starting area, generate a Molecule Man bystander. So there you go. If you're in there and you're just like, yo, I'm here and now I generated Molecule Man. You fail to kill me, I am punishing you. I am going to fundamentally just do all these -1s as free damage. There is no roll for attack. It's just damage. Okay? And it's unavoidable damage. So that is ridiculous. So for people like Reed Richards, Fixer of Universes is not worth it. I'm like, for your Fantastic Four, he might be. Because if we go back to, we have a bazillion Perplexes, and we also have Surfer. Surfer can just move. And with the Perplexes, he can get rather far. And turn 2, you could be in your opponent's starting area. And boop, here comes Molecule Man. You know. So, because again, uncovering the real source of Doom's power, all his stuff is a free. So he can do all this stuff after being carried. And you don't necessarily have to rush if you don't want to. I mean, that is there. That is a truth of it. But the fact that I'm able to have whatever number of taxis that I have on Fantastic Four, Illuminati, or Scientist, and just get him over there, it works. And then even more so, he has an 11 movement himself. So if you're just like TK up Reed, all right, up his movement. All right, Reed hop, skips, and a jump over. He's there. Congratulations. You know, drop a Molecule Man. All right, so it is an issue. Okay. Now, no, he still needs to do that one outwit or perplex, but that's not hard. That's not hard whatsoever. All right. And just for people who don't know, Molecule Man is a sidestep, 0 move, 12 attack, 18 energy shield, and 1 damage psychic blast. I mean, 1 damage precision strike, not psychic blast. I said psychic blast before. 1 damage precision strike, which actually makes him more deadly. So yeah, like that's rough. That's rough to deal with. So let's talk about Mole Man, the prize support Mole Man, and why he also is ridiculously strong. 50 points for his Underground Empire. Stealth, phasing, teleport. When Mole Man uses phasing teleport, generate a hindering terrain marker in the square he began and ended his movement in. Oops, sorry. Crawl of the Monster Army. Other friendly characters with the monster keyword have improved movement, hindering, and free move 1 square. Congratulations, Wendigo. The Daniel Powell, your 15 Wendigos now have a purpose. Completely. So yeah, like that is there. Incapacitate doesn't matter. You have Incapacitate as free, but only to target a character adjacent to 2+ characters. Whatever. Doesn't matter. You're going to have the Moloid, so like let's go. Alright, so overall, where do I rank the set? In terms of power level, I'm ranking the set as A+ power level. Actually, a solid A power level. There are a couple of things in here that are strong. There aren't a lot of things that I'm just like, oh yeah, that's broke strong. We're never going to see the end of that. Okay? Because we don't see anything that's broke strong from this set, but we have a lot of above average. I think that we're going to see some adaptations in thinking once this all starts settling down. I think one of the first adaptations in thinking will be Frightful 4. I'll take that back. I'm hyping that. So I think one of the first adaptations is going to be Neo Cosmic because of Firelord and because of Surfer. So if I'm able to play 2 Firelords plus Silver Surfer at 75 as the core of my Cosmic team, and I have, what was that? So 110, 155. So I've spent half of my build, a little over half of my build on that, and I have 3 really good attackers. That's something to consider on what you want to do, because then you can just put in 3 Dark Phoenixes, and that's just 90 more points. Or you could put in 2 Dark Phoenixes and start looking at support characters. So there's a lot there in terms of Neo Cosmic that can be frustrating to your opponent, and in which you could, start to build up that number that Cosmic used to have. But at the same time, I would make the argumentation, oh yeah, because you even have Q on your side. Yeah, so you have Q, Prime Q, and yeah, like you could go through that and figure that layout real nice. But you do not have what I would feel is this insane dominating aura that old Cosmic had. Even going, not just from a retaliator standpoint, but from just an overall force standpoint. Because, yeah, like, Unimind was strong for a long period of time. What was it? Star Fox, the only Star Fox in history that anyone wanted, was very excellent for Cosmic. But we can functionally say now, like, all right, like, what's next? Where's the evolution? Where is the pushback? Where is the next step? And I don't see it directly right now. It doesn't mean it's not there, but I do think that, like, Firelord is a huge push in that direction. I think you're going to probably see some attempts at Latveria, because Common Doom and Dr. Richards are pretty much best friends for life in terms of the amount of Doom bots that they're able to generate. So I see that as a valid option to consider. Fantastic Four, I feel like Fantastic Four requires you to have a either above average to an extreme team building skill and the ability to read the meta. If you can't do those things, then I would argue doing the Invisible Woman tech is not for you. You want to just start with like a stock Fantastic Four team, or if you're going to integrate Invisible Woman, have one or two major swaps that you're looking at, and that's it. Don't go too in depth. I would also like taking that step forward with the Fantastic Four. I would say you cannot run Fantastic Four arguably and in a competitive way, not necessarily high level competitive, without Wolverine Invisible Woman is number one, Wolverine number two, Bill Cosby thing number three. Like, you cannot run it without them. You can argue for Franklin and Valeria being closely tied. Franklin Richards and Valeria Von Doom being like tied for it, but like those figures do make the team, and I can feel I know folks are going to say like, hey, do I always really need to run the thing? And the answer is yes, you do. You do need to always run the thing. Always. He's too dumb. He is the best 50-point support piece that we've seen in years. He is that dumb. He is the number 6 strongest figure in this set. Yes, you do. Okay? So, oh gosh. Like, I know I'm having arguments with invisible people right now, but I hear the I already know where some of the pushbacks are coming from, because I had to go through some of them myself and looking at it, and it's just like, oh, he is that good. Like, people also need to accept, like, in the top 10 figures, if you do not have Wizard at number 10, you're wrong. Like, realistically, Wizard makes Frightful Four threatening. You can rank the rest of the Frightful Four however you want, but if Wizard is not in your top 10 for this set, I'm like, yo, you're going to get snuck up on. You're going to get snuck up on because Wizard creates too many opportunities for you with Frightful Four. It's just way too many. So, yeah, like I'm just like processing everything by the numbers, and a majority of the characters that I'm looking at is like, yeah, can Skrulls come back on the map? Only in fun. Like, I think it requires an extreme high level of play to play Skrulls effectively. In competitive, local competitive, they'll do great, and high level competitive, they're DOA. WizKids didn't do enough to make them good enough. And then gosh, you're going to see God Doom. You're going to see people just try to play God Doom to make them work because they got them, instead of putting them up on eBay for the collectors and making your $200 and be happy. So yeah, I know that's a little bit more depressing ending. Like I said, I give this set like a solid A. For as much as I have listed off in this set, I have to say the following. Thank you, WizKids, for designing this set very well. It's been a while. Actually, I take that back. I sort of said this on Fantastic Four too. For the fact that my commons and uncommons fully flesh out and make my rares, super rares, and chases better, that is the type of game design that I want to see. I want to see like, hey, guess what? If you play them with this team, this guy's value is a rarity higher, or maybe even 2 rarities higher, but he's a common or an uncommon. But he specifically works with this team only. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. And I want to see more of that for viable teams. In terms of like, I'm X-Men. If I'm within 5 squares of an X-Men, I have a stop click. I think, yeah, you're a common. Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly logical to me. You got 4 clicks? Fine. Okay? And I think this is the experimentation that has to happen, because when I look at the Fantastic Four, I can play an entire 4 members of the Fantastic Four perfectly. I can go underbuild and add equipment. I can make more than 4 appear on the team and be underbuild and have equipment. I can have more than 4 be perfect build, have equipment. I have a map bonus that specifically is tailored to me, so I don't have to pay for it. I have all of these elements that sort of come together and swirl and cook together however I want it. Do I want steak? Do I want souffle? Do I want a fresh apple? This is Fantastic Four is the ghetto replicator, because you can do it all pretty well. Not excellent, but pretty well. Do you want a retail type characters? You have 2 of them. Do you want anti-retail? You have that. Do you want hypersonic speed heavy attacker? You have that. Do you want defend? You have that. Do you want control? You have that. Do you want perplex, outwit, prop? You have all of that. Do you want shape change on your team? You have that. You want power cosmic on your team? You have that. Like, it's so much. It's just fantastic. I had to do it. I had to do it. But you can run Fantastic Four defensively. You can run Fantastic Four offensively. You can run Fantastic Four in a very controlling manner. You can run Fantastic Four any way you want and give the other opponent a run. I'm not saying you're guaranteed to win, but you're able to give them a run, which is the most important thing. Okay, so that's it. That's it for today's show. I'm out of gas. So I'd like to thank you all for listening to today's show. And definitely, if you started here, go listen to part 1. Just do me a favor, listen to part 1. All right, so you can donate to the show going to startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. That's startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com. If you wish to opine, keep it pithy, keep it interesting, keep it awesome, baby. Sorry, I said donate, not email. You donate, go over to startingoverpodcast.blogspot.com, and then there's a donate button for you to click. You can email me at startingoverpodcast@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at startoverpod. It came from outer space and said, "Happy birthday, Edward. Glad that you're still alive." and then I can still give you the reports from outer space. All right, that is it. I'd like to thank you all for listening. Thank you all for sort of sticking with me through this year thus far. I'm doing a lot less content than I thought I would be. And definitely during quarantine, I thought I would be doing a lot more. And the fact that I'm not, it mainly just comes back to a degree of burnout from heroclix. And I think it also just, staying inside, minor depression, no social interaction, and outside of Discord for, like months on end. So, some things in terms, interaction and relationally are becoming a bit better from that standpoint. Just being able to go out there and just interact and touch people, handshakes matter. So, all right. Thank you all for listening.